Manchin, fuming about Biden, has some decisions to make. Thursday brought news that West Virginia's popular Republican governor, Jim Justice, is running for the Senate, and he has the state's centrist Democratic Senator, Joe Manchin III, squarely in his sights. The GOP hopes the move will persuade the 75-year-old Manchin to retire. It might. Or it could push him that much closer to mounting an independent bid for the presidency in 2024. "I will win any race I enter," Manchin said in a statement Thursday afternoon without specifying which race that might be. Manchin doesn't sound all that enthusiastic about being a Democrat anymore. This week, on Sean Hannity's Fox News program, the senator continued what has become a months-long attack on the Biden administration for betraying him over the concessions it made on electrical vehicles to win his crucial vote last year for the Inflation Reduction Act. If this administration does not honor what it said it would do, Manchin said, he would vote to repeal the law. Hannity asked him why he's still a Democrat. "Well, they don't always get my vote, and you know that," Manchin answered. "If I can't go home and explain it, I don't vote for it. And I think about that every day. Why am I a Democrat, when everybody's going in different directions?" Good question. And yet Democrats, President Biden in particular, are indebted to Manchin. Without passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, the 2022 midterms might have gone worse for the party. If Democrats hadn't beaten expectations in the midterms, the 80-year-old Biden might not be running for re-election. And the law's passage hinged on an unexpected reversal by Manchin, who had opposed the gargantuan $2 trillion Build Back Better bill. He eventually signed on to its relatively slimmed-down version, the Inflation Reduction Act, but only after Biden and other Democrats agreed to a Manchin demand regarding the legislation's $7,500 tax credit for electric vehicles. The credits would apply only to vehicles with battery components made in the United States, using critical minerals from friendly countries. In a small but symbolic win for Manchin, the law also placed income limits on the tax credit, but they were pretty darned high. To qualify, car buyers' gross annual income could not exceed $150,000, or $300,000 for married couples filing jointly. Manchin, and everyone else, also believed he had won several major concessions for the fossil fuel industry in the package, helping out his home state's coal industry and natural gas-run electricity plants. Now, less than 9 months after the Inflation Reduction Act's passage, Manchin finds that the Biden administration has unilaterally overridden the concessions made to gain his support. The senator is fuming. And he isn't alone, even among Democrats, in unhappiness with the White House defining the law however it likes. Earlier this year, Congress started to hear that the administration was going to set an extraordinarily low threshold for vehicle components to qualify for the credit. In a March 29 op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, an angry Manchin wrote, "They are ignoring the law's intent to support and expand fossil energy and are redefining domestic energy to increase clean energy spending to potentially deficit-breaking levels. The administration is attempting at every turn to implement the bill it wanted, not the bill Congress actually passed." 2 days later, the Treasury Department unveiled the actual regulations. To qualify for the tax credit in 2023, an electric car needs just 40% of its critical minerals sourced from the United States or friendly countries, and just half of battery components must be manufactured or assembled in North America. Both of those criteria gradually increase, 10 percentage points at a time over the years. Batteries for tax credit qualifying vehicles won't have to be made entirely in the United States until 2029. To hear Manchin tell it, low starting requirements like that completely ignore what Congress intended when it passed the law. In a March 31 statement, he said, "It is horrific that the administration continues to ignore the purpose of the law, which is to bring manufacturing back to America and ensure we have reliable and secure supply chains. American tax dollars should not be used to support manufacturing jobs overseas." Amid all this, the Biden administration struck a critical minerals deal with Japan that will allow Japanese cars to qualify for the electric vehicle tax credit. That might make sense as a step to push China out of critical mineral supply chains, but it makes little sense if, as Manchin contended, the act's objective is to bring manufacturing back to America. To some congressional Democrats, such as Daniel Kildee of Michigan, this move amounts to Biden waving a magic wand and declaring a free trade agreement with Japan where none exists. By signing this executive agreement, the administration is bypassing Congress' role in ratifying free trade agreements, Kildee said in a statement, adding, "I disagreed with former President Trump bypassing Congress in 2019 to sign the U.S.-Japan trade agreement, and I disagree now with President Biden for taking the same approach with executive agreements." Senate Finance Chairman Ron Wyden, an Oregon Democrat, is expressing similar concerns. Critical mineral agreements ought to be made public before they're signed, and will continue to stress that with the administration. Since the rules came out, voices on the right have painted Manchin as a sucker. The American Energy Alliance said, "Joe Manchin is the Senate's April Fool." The Wall Street Journal editorial board wrote that it wishes him luck, but doesn't expect Team Biden to listen. They got what they wanted when the bill passed last year. And unsurprisingly, House Republicans concur that the administration is making up its own rules in defiance of the written law. Nebraska Republican Adrian Smith, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee's Subcommittee on Trade, warned at a March 24 hearing, the administration cannot just come up with new definitions of what a trade agreement is for some reason and certainly not to give handouts for electric vehicles. Manchin has said he won't discuss his private conversations with members of the administration, but so far there's no sign that Biden or anyone on his team is losing any sleep over Manchin's objections. White House aides might rest a bit more uneasily if they have so thoroughly alienated the senator that he jumps into the 2024 presidential race as an independent. His personal experience in dealing with the Biden White House would provide plenty of material for the debate stage and a stump speech. Manchin, fuming about Biden, has some decisions to make. Thursday brought news that West Virginia